All right. Um, Excellent. Excellent. Cool. So, good. Just making sure we're all set on all fronts over here, and we'll get started. All right. So let's start with a little bit of a market discussion. It's kind of a big day. It's not just a big day for earnings; it's a big day as well for the FOMC coming out today. There's PCE data later this week. There's a lot that could spark some serious moves in this marketplace, and I think that's one of the reasons you're really going to appreciate today's session. We're going to be talking about obviously earnings flips tonight. There's some big earnings. I mean, look, tonight, what's on the menu tonight? Well, you've got obviously Meta and Microsoft and Tesla, but you got Mastercard, Las Vegas Sands, Love, which is Southwest, IBM, Caterpillar, UPS. That's actually tonight and tomorrow morning. Just wanted to make that distinction in here. So there's a lot of earnings coming up, and there's going to be plenty of us trading a little bit, not only during this session but later today. So yeah, let's get off and rolling with this. So again, welcome everybody. My name is Don Kaufman. We've kind of, we've hit our official start time over here. As I said a moment ago, I just like to make sure everybody's tuned in and hear us all right before I get too deep into this. So this is something that, well, not only do I enjoy talking about, I trade it a lot, and I'm going to trade it right here with you today. So again, welcome everybody. I am broadcasting today from Paradise Valley. It's a little town kind of inside of Scottsdale, Arizona. It's a very chilly, January morning here. Chilly, by the way, here is oh, it's only 45, it might hit 60 today. So I love to do that too, especially to people that are in places like, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Chicago, which a lot of our crew are still in Chicago. Torture each and every one of you just a little bit, or it could be Boston. Excellent. Okay. Actually, yeah, Gianni is in Detroit. Okay. It's nice this time of year, I've heard. So, welcome. This is Earnings Flips. Again, you are watching a Theo Trade presentation. Here's a risk disclosure. We're not financial advisors nor a broker dealer. I always put that up there because many of us, including myself here at Theo Trade, spent the previous portion of our trading career either as market makers and or in the brokerage side of the business. Myself, well, I'll describe that in just a moment. I've done both. Here's a copyright disclaimer. This is mine. It's all mine. The reason we throw this up here, if you need to get a hold of me after today, just email support@theotrade.com. I want everybody to know, okay, we are, if you will, reachable. So respond to your email. Literally, I respond to emails throughout the course of every day. But if you need to get a hold of me, we use a common inbox. So support@theotrade.com. Put Don Kaufman in the subject. It'll go right to me. Speaking about Don Kaufman, all right, I'm going to give you the nickel tour of myself. I'll just be fast because there's so much I want to talk about in terms of trading today. But there are some people here that are brand new and have never tuned in to a Theo Trade broadcast. By the way, people admitting it's the first step today. Anybody here brand new? Okay, never tuned into a Theo Trade webcast. First thing you should know, I like to drink my caffeine. Hmm, I do. I do like to drink my caffeine. So looks like all right. Yeah, Captain Kirk. Captain Kirk. All right. A couple of first timers. I recognize a lot of the names in here. So not a single person was willing to come out. All right, we got one. So there's a lot of people that have tuned into a lot of different webcasts, and that is okay. But this is again going to be pretty in depth today. So strap in. It's going to get good. Here's a little bit about me. I always say this, like everybody always has a story, like how they got involved in this business. I grew up in it. I wasn't doing anything before trading. I was in high school, then I was in college, and then I traded. I had no intention of going into trading. I had family that was in trading, And I went on a whim, literally on a whim. I went and clerked, on the floor of the Chicago Board Options Exchange. And if you put a 20 at the time, I was 22 years old. If you put a 22-year-old kid on that trading floor, they're never going to leave. I mean, it's not even fair. They're never going to leave, and you're never going to leave because you meet a couple people that are like 3 and 4 years older than you, making ridiculous amounts of money, and you come to the recognition pretty quick. I'm like, that individual is no different than me. So here I am. So I started trading in the late 90s, specifically in 1998, the first summer I traded. We went through the long-term capital management debacle, obviously traded through some pretty heavy volatility in the first years. While on the floor in Chicago, I met an individual by the name of Tom Sosnoff. He introduced me to his partner, Scott Sheridan. We kind of hit it off, and they invited me to join at the time what was a startup brokerage firm. Well, it just so happens that that startup brokerage firm with we used kind of a working name called Thinkorswim. Turns out that became kind of a household name. I was an executive at Thinkorswim when we took the company public in 2007. I actually built their entire education division of Thinkorswim when I went on there full time in about 2001. I was there when the company was acquired by none other than TD Ameritrade. When TD Ameritrade acquired us, that was actually in 2009. In early 2010, I signed a 5-year lockup clause. So I remained at TD Ameritrade for the next 5 years in kind of a nice, executive position where I educated the 7 million clients of TD Ameritrade. And more importantly, we got to see all the order flow. And that's one of the things I, pay very careful attention to. And that's a term that a lot of people are not familiar with is like order flow. Here's the bottom line. I got to see everything that you did. Okay. And I don't mean like, we didn't just go in and be like, hey, what's Mike doing in his account? That's not what it's about. We got to actually run big data on everybody's accounts. So imagine you have the subset of 7 million clients, and then you go after and you actually whittle it down to like, let's say 400,000 that actually trade stocks, options, they trade, a multitude of products. You're looking at this subsection of 400,000 accounts, and you're actually then going in there and saying, what kind of strategies do they trade butterflies? Do they trade iron condors? Are they just buying a call, buying a put? Okay, what is the attrition rate of somebody that just trades a single option versus a spread? We know every answer to it. And it's one of actually the coolest things to talk about. But a lot of the education that you receive here at TheoTrade, we took the knowledge from what we learned at both Thinkorswim, okay, and TD Ameritrade, and we brought that education here to TheoTrade. And we're in a non-regulated, environment now. I don't have the SEC breathing down my neck. And I say we, TheoTrade is not a one-trick pony. It's not just Don Kaufman here. We've got Jeff Bierman. We've got Brandon Chapman. We've got Blake Young. We've got Gianni DiPoce. We've got Corey Rosenblum. We've got Tony Rago. And many of these individuals worked with us in our previous time, of course, both at Thinkorswim and of course, TD Ameritrade. So what you're going to learn here today is really from the knowledge of what works best, having looked at retail order flow for the better part of about 15 years. All right, get down to it here. Look, one of the first things I'm going to tell you, sit down, tune in, turn on. Okay. Got to cut out some of the distractions, turn off your phones, turn off whatever it may be. I'm doing the exact same thing. And I say that simply because I'm going to go through a lot today. Okay. It's going to be up tempo. You guys ready? Earnings. We're going to talk, okay, expressly about earnings. And when people trade earnings, there's so many myths around it. So let us, okay, let us discuss that right up front. When I say the myths or the fear of earnings, okay, let's be forthright. When earnings come out, can a stock move huge? Let me just ask that question, okay? Let me ask that. Can stock move huge? Because, earnings, okay, and most people have heard earnings are scary, scary, like Tesla. I'll be honest, okay? Tesla should scare you. It should, okay? Earnings are too volatile. You shouldn't trade earnings. Okay. You can't trade earnings successfully. These, okay, are notions that people hear. They constantly hear them, right? You should wait until after earnings. You should step out of existing trades around earnings. Like I see people do this all the time where they own a stock for years and they get nervous about the earnings and they're like, I'm going to exit before the earnings and then get back in after the earnings. And I'm like, yeah, but a lot of the good returns can be made in or around earnings. Okay. Or you should just trade the high flyers ahead of earnings. Okay. You should ride out the earnings and hope for the best. These are all kind of myths in or around earnings. Okay. Don't believe the earnings lies that people have been exposed to. Don't believe what you've heard out there. And again, it's just, you're going to see in just a moment that first thing, I do not care if the earnings are going to be good or bad. It makes no difference. Okay. Uh, For the strategy that we are embarking upon, okay, today, I do not care if the earnings are good or bad. Okay. That's not even part of the strategy. I don't need to know how the market's going to react to the earnings. No one can predict, okay, that reaction. No one's going to be able to predict that. And look, I love to tell this story, and I'm going to make it very brief, but it fits perfectly into this. Okay. And I want to give you a little bit of like insight, a little experience. Okay. Um, I've traded earnings and very, very successfully for many years using exactly what I'm going to display to you. But when I talk about like no one can predict earnings, I, okay, don't mind saying this. By the way, I'm not chasing vol crush, none of that crap. Okay. Because it's just crap. There's no vol crush. Okay. That's like a huge misnomer. And by the way, I've got a great video that I do about that. Hmm? I've got a great story about this. So I worked obviously at Thinkorswim when we were a public company. And this is going back into my earlier career. But when we were a public company, I would get to see the earnings and the executive team. I get to see the earnings. I would also sit in the conference calls. I would get to see the earnings about a week before. The CFO of the company would actually present earnings to us. Anyway, so I'm looking at the earnings like a week before, and I'm like, yeah, we're gonna beat, and we're gonna beat by like 3 cents, which is a big beat for us. So we're gonna beat the earnings estimate. So let's say, for example, the earnings estimate we were supposed to make 8 cents. That's 8 cents per share. Instead of making 8 cents a share, we were going to make 11 cents a share. And I knew this like a week in advance. So, and by the way, at this point, I owned a proverbial crap load of shares. Okay. Because obviously, an executive, they just, to keep you strung along, the gold, they call them the golden handcuffs. So I have a ton of shares. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's gonna be a good week. I'm thinking like I'm gonna make like $4 or $5 million this week. Uh, anyway, long story short, the earnings come out, we beat, and the analysts turn around and they go, the best these monkeys are gonna do. And they took the stock down. And I was like, oh. Instead of like making like I thought it was gonna be like $3-4 million during the week, I was upside down by just over a million. And the agony of defeat. Okay. And it always sticks with me because you get all these people like, on CNBC and TV, like, prognosticating about where earnings are going to go. No one can predict it. I don't care what the institutions are expecting. You shouldn't either. Okay. You're going to use my criteria to know which earnings are opportunities and which ones are traps. Okay. Follow me. Follow me in earnings flip criteria. And there's a reason we call it earnings flip. Okay. Because it sounds like you're going to do what? Flip a coin. That's exactly what we're going to talk about. One of the coolest things of this strategy, before I get into it, and I'm going to get into it here in just a second. One of the coolest things about it, it's an opportunity unlike any other that are presented to you in this business. Like when you guys are trading, you're like, I gotta wait for the setup and the MACD's gotta cross the Fibonacci. Like people are waiting for like the perfect setup. And okay, this doesn't work that way. There's no timing in the earnings, okay, flips. There's no timing whatsoever. So what other strategy has this where literally days, weeks, even months, you can kind of plan it all out? What other strategy has that? Like I knew for the past couple of weeks, tonight I will trade Microsoft. I will trade Caterpillar. Tonight I will trade IBM. Tonight I might trade, UPS. Tonight I might trade. Like I know in advance what I'm going to trade. And I know that I'm going to trade on a Wednesday afternoon. And I know that I'm also going to do some trades tomorrow. Like I already have exactly what I'm going to trade planned out. Okay. So I know the product I'm going to trade. I know when I'm going to trade it. What other strategy has that? Okay. And it actually it's just like no other strategy out there. That's I like it. So not only is the timing of the trade like clockwork, so is the option setup. And that's exactly what we're going to show you here. And this is what we term it's Apex earning week, and it's here. Next week, okay, is the high point for earnings. So like today, we take off to the upside in terms of earnings. We peak next week, it's Apex earning week, and then it'll start to diminish just a little bit. But literally tonight, okay, tomorrow, next week is the golden child, if you will, of earnings announcements. Now, the next thing, okay, the type of flipping that we're going to do, this is not expensive, not even close to expensive. Okay, it's going to be relatively inexpensive. So you're not going to have a huge brokerage account. If you legitimately have $2,000 in your account, you can do this. I'm going to say that again. If you have $2,000 in your account, you can do this. Now, people always ask me which brokerage firms I use. Obviously, a moment ago, you saw Thinkorswim. Okay, so yeah, I still use Thinkorswim. Okay, why? Because I was heavily involved in the company, but I trade pretty extensively outside of Tasty too. In fact, I've got a lot more capital right now at Tasty. You know what? I have a $2,000 account sitting here at Tasty, okay, with nothing in it. Let's trade that one too, just to make a point. That's a $2,000 account. Let's do this because I want to show you that you absolutely can do this in a $2,000 account. So I'll trade on Tasty. I'll trade on Thinkorswim. Okay, it's I'm an equal opportunity trader. Now, this is not going to cost you a lot to get into the trades. Okay, here's an earnings flip right here. And what this is Capital One Financial, right? Now, this is a trade. If you look back, and again, I like to use stuff, okay, that's relatively what, recent. This one, you're like, oh, excuse me, that's in October. That's because that was the last earnings announcement, right? So we went through that October, November timeframe, and now we're just starting to take off into earnings again. By the way, some of the trades that I've done already this earnings period, I'm going to display to you in a moment. So what you have here is an opening position and a closing position, right? What I did in Capital One Financial is every $28 invested, I got back 210. Now, first time you guys see this, everybody freaking out, okay? You literally can get in there for 28 bucks. That's the lowest common denominator. If you did like a one lot over here, it's 28-cent debit. But you could do 10 contracts, make it 280, okay, to make what? $1,100, okay, dollars. It's still a 293% return. Okay. So it's not so much about the return. First of all, I want you to focus on how much you have at risk. And if you're dead wrong in here, just dead wrong, your risk is going to be limited to 28 bucks. You okay with that? So not only am I going to show you these trades, I'm going to do some of them. So this is Capital One Financial. And this at the time, was it's a big boy product. It's a $150 stock that I'm trading for 28 bucks. What other strategy can do that, especially around earnings? The next one, Microsoft. Here's an earnings flip in Microsoft. Every $91 invested, I got back 250. It's 175% return. I know the 293% looks better, but the 175% return is in Microsoft. Okay. It's a $400 product, people. Okay. And again, if you don't want to have $91, okay, at risk, you can do more. Okay, you could do more. How much more? As much as you want. You want to have missed $9,100 to be able to make 25 grand. Okay, go to town. Whatever does it for you. But every $91 I invested, I got back 250. It's 175% return. The next one, I think you've heard of this. It's called Apple. Okay, now so we're still in the last earnings period. Every $78 invested, I got back 220, 182% return. We haven't fun yet. The next one, Intel. $39 invested, I got back 95. Remember, $390 invested, got back 950. It's 144% return. Amazon, okay? Amazon, it's $200 product. Every $48 invested, I got back 215. Okay? A 348% return. Now, Want to learn how to do it? Let's do this. Let's go to live market and actually do this. By the way, I also want to show you before I even get into the live market. You want to see stuff that's more recent, okay? Because we're actually going to look at like Delta. We're going to look at Taiwan Semiconductor. We're going to look at like United Healthcare. I'm still trading it, but this earnings period just kicked off. This earnings period kicked off, okay? And I've already hit. I hit Delta. I hit Taiwan Semiconductor and I hit United Healthcare. Okay. I've only done so far 6 trades and I've already hit 3 of them. And you go, those odds are not very good. You're going to learn right now. Okay. You're going to learn right now that hitting even 1 in 3 is wildly profitable. Hmm? It's all you have to hit. Again, that's all you have to do. So let's get to it. You guys ready? Okay. When I say let's go to live market, yeah, I'm not joking. We're going to go into the live market right now. I'm going to explain, okay, a little bit about the earnings flip. So today is the perfect day. And by the way, when when I do this session, I'm doing it because I'm going to trade tonight. I'm going to trade pretty extensively tonight too. I'm going to put up some earnings flip, okay, and we're going to see how they're going to do. We're going to see tonight. We're going to see tomorrow how these trades are going to do. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to explain to you exactly how the strategy works. So, what do you want to trade? You guys tell me. There's earnings tonight. There's earnings tomorrow morning. Let's do this. What do you want to trade? Okay, I'm going to leave it to you guys right now. What do you want to trade to begin with? Anyway, Tesla, Meta, nice. IBM, okay. A couple of Teslas, a few Metas, a couple Microsofts in here. Cool. So, all right. You know what? I like it. I think I'm gonna do. There's no earnings on Spider. Oh, I like that Caterpillar. Okay. Let's close up that left side bar. Okay. Let's actually start. Let's start with Microsoft. Let's let's get crazy. I'm going for Microsoft. Like, I was thinking like, let's start off a little softer, a little gentler. But you know what? Screw it. This is $444 stock. The first time that somebody steps into the ring and they're like, I only have a $2,000 account. People are terrified of the $444 stock. We're going to learn to trade this. I don't know. It might cost like 30 or 40 bucks. You guys okay with that? Having 30 or $40 of risk on here? Okay. I mean, it probably costs you more to park and get a cup of Starbucks these days. Inflation. I'll have one of those $300 cookies with that $82 Starbucks. Anyway, let's explain first what the earnings flip is. And then, okay, I'm actually going to take you into Microsoft and just trade it with you. So again, I don't sugarcoat anything. Okay, we're going to kind of give you the full Monty in this one. So the first thing I want to do is I want to give you a fictitious stock. Okay, let's give you a fictitious stock. Let's say we have a stock, and the stock is called stock. All right, and that stock is going to be trading right at, let's make it 450 bucks. That work? I know it's close to Microsoft, but we're going to have a stock and it's going to be trading at 450 bucks. And we're going to look at earnings, okay, from a pure distribution point of view. Okay. I want you for just a moment, okay, everybody that's tuned in, okay, everybody that's tuned in, I want you for a moment to not think of stock as anything other than symbols. I don't give a damn that that's Microsoft. I just don't care. Okay. I want you to look at stock as a $450 product. Do you know why I use the term product? Because it's a disassociation. I don't care whether it's Microsoft or whether it's Caterpillar or whether it doesn't matter. Okay. People are like, oh, can you bring up the chart, please? Absolutely not. Because it's not going to impede upon our progress here. So there's this company called stock, and stock, okay, has what we term, okay, an expected move. And the expected move is going to be what we term plus or minus 20 bucks. Now, there is an esoteric term. If you have no idea what expected move is, okay, the options marketplace. Okay, many of you are familiar with it. How many people here look at options? I got a better question. How many people here have never viewed an option chain ever before? Anybody here brand new, never viewed an option chain before? Okay. I love this. I see people in the chat room like, when did this start? Oh boy, we got problems over there. Anyway, So, um, I love it. When you're looking at this, okay, how many people here have never seen an expected move? Okay, so they've never viewed it. So what an expected move is, right? And I'm going to cruise over. Most brokerage platforms offer what's termed expected move. So bear with me for a second. I'm going to come into Microsoft. Okay, it doesn't matter that it's Microsoft. I'm going to open up an option chain. Okay, and I take you over here to the right hand side. What does that say? It says plus or minus $19.97. Okay, moving around a little bit, about 20 bucks. You go, how does that work? Okay, all it really is the at the money call plus the at the money put. That equals 20 bucks. In 2 seconds, you just deciphered what the marketplace, okay, believes the stock is going to move. So we take this $450 stock and we distill it down. Okay. The market says we're going to move 20 bucks. Well, why should we trust the market? Anybody? Why should we trust the marketplace? Because the marketplace right now, look, people look often at volume and open interest, but you ever think of it this way? If somebody trades 3,000, if somebody trades 3,000 contracts, it's a 400 and some odd dollar stock, right? $450 stock, we'll say in this case. Trade 3,000 contracts. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wouldn't that be like millions and millions and millions of dollars at risk at that? Yes, it would. Well, imagine if you added up all of the volume, okay, in Microsoft prior to the earnings announcement. You add it all up. We are talking billions of dollars, okay, literally billions of dollars at risk in here. And what you get, some people are like, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's not a self-fulfilling prophecy. What you get is this is like a line on a game. If it's going to be a painful topic, but if Kansas City, okay, was favored to beat Buffalo by 2 points and literally at the last moment kicks the field goal, boom, they win by 3 points. You're like, how do the point spread so efficient? And there's only a couple of $1 million being traded on that game. In this game, there's billions and billions of dollars. Okay. In any given earnings announcement, the highest likelihood of movement is to the edge of an expected move. Now, let me take you into it. Okay. Let me take you into exactly this. All right. So delete that out. When we look at this $450 stock, so bring up my drawing tool over here. We look at this $450 stock. We are well apprised that this thing could go up or it can go down. The expected move is not just some random calculation. The expected move is 20 bucks. It means the stock is likely to move up 20 bucks or down 20 bucks. Okay. How often is going to stay in that range? 68% of the time. Now, this is where everybody goes, time out. Where'd you come up with the 68%? That's one standard deviation. Okay. And I'm not trying to blow anybody's mind over here. That's what trading is based on. But there's this crazy phenomenon that if you trade huge size in a product, okay, not just a 68% chance of staying in the range. There's actually, okay, about a 1 in 3 chance of hitting the upper or lower expected move. In any given earnings announcement, there's a 1 in 3 chance of hitting the upper or lower edge of the expected move. How does that grab you? Okay. How does that grab you? So I don't want you to think about the math. I don't want you to even worry about the expected move. Okay. All I want you to worry about, you have a $450 product, right? Oh, okay. You're telling me it's going to go up 20 bucks or down 20 bucks. Yes. How often is it going to do that? 1 in 3. You're like, but that sucks, man. So even if I could pick where it's going to go, even if I could pick where it's going to go, it's a 1 in 3 chance. Like a 1 in 3 chance sucks. Yeah. But what if we had a trade? What if we had a trade that I could put on, okay, right in, okay, that ballpark? What if I put a trade on right on top of there? What if I put a trade right on there? And if it goes to it, okay, even in a 1 in 3 chance, the payout could be 300 or 400%. Is it worthwhile to do the trade? And you go, uh-huh, that's exactly the trade we're going to do. Okay. That is exactly the trade that we're going to do. And this is where everybody goes, excuse me, sir, how do I know to be bullish or bearish? How many people have that question? How many people have that question, whether to be bullish or bearish? Anybody? Because that's what everybody always asks me. Excuse me, how do I know whether to be bullish or bearish? Why does it matter? Everything everybody's ever learned about this business, everything that you're bombarded with. I turned on CNBC and Kramer threw a chair at me and told me to be bullish. Okay. By the way, the same producer creator of the Jim Cramer show is the exact same producer creator of none other than the Jerry Springer show. You can't even make that crap up. Okay. By the way, you can look that one up. She won an Emmy for it. Her name is Susan Krakauer. We built a show with her, so I know the whole story. So the next time you see Jim Cramer like running around throwing chairs, hitting buttons, and so forth, I want you to think of the late great Jerry Springer. All right, bullish or bearish doesn't matter. Extract it. Okay. Do you really like? Do you think market making firms sit there and they go, so got $1 billion at risk today? What are you going to be in Microsoft? They don't give two craps about whether it's going bullish or bearish. None of the market making firms, you can't function like that. You have a 1 in 3 chance. I don't care how good you are, you have a 1 in 3 chance. Okay. How good am I? I have a 1 in 3 chance. I'm going to look at the chart. Oh, well, it could go up here. It could go down here. Want to know the real thing? Okay. Let's take a trade. Let's trade it. Okay. Where are we right now? We're trading 4K43. So let's bring up a trusted calculator just to show you, okay, what's at stake over here. Okay. By the way, you don't use both. Don't. I know somebody was always going to say that. Somebody always says, like, what if I do both sides? That way, bullish and bearish. Still going to be a 1 in 3 shot. Doesn't make a difference. Okay. You only want to do one side or the other. Everybody always says that because otherwise you're doubling your cost for the same probability. Okay. Imagine you were like putting a bet down and you had a 1 in 3 chance. Okay. But you put another bet down and pretty much still only have a 1 in 3 chance, but you just doubled your risk without actually increasing the probability of being correct. Okay. Trading is not as difficult as people like to make it to be. It's just not that difficult. Like I can sit down. I actually did this. I sat down with Chat GPT and I was able to proof this entire strategy. And I'll actually show you exactly where that is later. Um, this is a $444 stock. Okay. It's $444 stock. And it has a $20 expected move. I'm going to be bearish. And you go, why are you going to be bearish? Because I want to drive everybody crazy. I want you to think long and hard. Oh, what does he know? He knows nothing. Okay. I just don't like Microsoft. I mean, come on. What have you done for me? When was the last time Microsoft? You're like, that's an astounding product. Has Microsoft had an astounding product? I don't know. Oh, Azure. I still got my Zoom somewhere over here. You guys remember the Zune? Okay. It was like an MP3 player that really, really sucked. Okay. I got my, how's that Windows phone working for you? Yeah. You don't have one of those either. Do you? Do you? Okay. But I got Copilot, which they had to not build and go and run and buy another $10 billion company. The $444 product. Okay. Subtract the $20, which is expected move. So you come out to what? About 424. Is that fair? Okay. Is that fair? About $424. That's kind of where we're at. So look, if I were to draw like a distribution curve, what I'm basically saying here, okay, what I'm basically saying is this is a $444 product. You subtract exactly $20, comes out to $424. I just did it in the calculator to amuse all of us. Okay, next, okay, build the trade. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up just a few more strikes. Okay, just a few more strikes over here. All right. So as I bring, that's not 130 strikes. What are you doing over here? 30. Um, all right, where are we going to be? Where are we going to be? So if you look over here, there's no, there's no what? There's no 424 call or put. So I have to round. This is where everybody loses their mind. They're like, he did what? He rounded something. There's an engineer that like, I need my medication right now. He's rounding things. Okay, trading. Okay, it ain't never going to be perfect. Never going to be perfect. I'm going to round. I'm going to round right to the 425s. I'm going to right click. I'm going to come to buy deep and wide. 1 month, two strike. Butterfly. He brings up a $5 wide butterfly for 36 cents. He locks down the price. I'm going to actually knock this one down to 35 cents just to screw with them. Hit confirm and send. He sends the trade. He shoots. No fill. Come over here, cancel, replace. Let's go to 36 cents. Probe the market there. Okay. He fills. He shoots. He scores. We're filled. Okay. That, people, is a trade. Now, I'm going to create a duplicate order. Show it again in slow motion. It's a $5 wide butterfly centered at 425 strike. Now, timeout. Timeout. You don't have to trade this one. Later today, I will send out an alert for this. I'm going to say that again. Later today, I will send out an alert for this. I may have to recenter the trade because later today, the FOMC meeting, I want to hit, okay, that strike right on. This stock could still move between now and the close. So I may recenter the trade, right? Okay. So I want you guys to know that. This, though, okay, is the first one that I'm putting up. And if you look at it, right? If you look at it, what have I done? I've done horrible things. What have I done? I'm going to tell you exactly what I did. Okay. I took distribution curve. This is a $444 product. Okay. I threw a butterfly right over about 425 strike. Okay. What I'm really doing, and this is the most important concept. I'm playing pin the tail on the donkey. Okay. The donkey, pin the tail on the donkey, and the donkey is at 425. Right. I know that my expected move is plus or minus 20 bucks. I know that there's an incredibly high probability of going here or here. I don't know which way we're going. You go, excuse me, sir. What if we go to 400? Oh, and I'm going to lose like what? 35 bucks, 36 bucks. Okay. I just did a one lot. Captain, one lot, rise again. But let's talk about, okay, making money. I hate to bring up risk profiles, but let's talk about making money. Okay. In Pin the Tail on the Donkey, let me zoom into this one and Pin the Tail on the Donkey. Okay. You can make decent money in here. Why keep recentering that? Okay. When I used to work at Thinkorswim, this would never have happened. Um, Look at this. What else do you have? 35 cents at risk. Okay. Oh, sorry. It's 36 cents. Apologize. Excuse me. What else do you have? 36 cents at risk. Okay. I legit could make 200, 300. Okay. I don't think I'm going to quite make 400, but that's a real number. I can make 200. You go, seriously? Okay. You think this is a joke over here? Look, this is one that I kind of sucked at 46 cents, got into $1.30. Okay. Here's one here, 48 cents, made 215. Okay. It's a $5 wide fly. Let's see, the last time I did Microsoft, there's Microsoft. It's a $5 wide fly, 91 cents. Okay. To 250. You go, why did it cost so much? This one was different. Okay. Sometimes they're a little bit different. Sometimes I do bigger flies. You know what's cool about, look at the size of this one. Okay. This is a big boy fly over here. Okay. This is a $7.50 wide fly. Okay. Big boy fly. Okay. 91 cents. And it, like, again, I hit these things again and again and again. It's just a matter, okay, of placing the trade. You know, you're like, what's the key over here? Execute, people. You got to execute. You got to trade. You got to play. Okay. You got to play around it. You can't be afraid, like, when Microsoft comes out and explodes higher tonight, you go, oh, my hopes, my dreams, my aspirations. By the way, I can't tell you how many times like an earnings announcement will come out, like the stock will jump and then it like fades right into it. You're like, come to my butterfly. My earnings flip is out there. And the reason we call it flip, okay, because you're doing just that, flipping it up there. You guys want to do it again? Okay. You want to do it again. So I'm telling you guys right now, post it in the chat, post it in the chat room. I'm going to recenter this one. And when I say I'm going to recenter it, like I know everybody wants to trade with me. I'm totally cool with you trading with me. But there's an FOMC meeting. What if Microsoft sells off by like $6 between now and the close? I might want to recenter this one a little bit lower, right? So accuracy matters, and we're not quite in the zone, okay, of me wanting to trade yet. As I told you guys earlier, when you do this stuff, okay, what are the strategy? Can you just like you can plan the whole thing like clockwork? Like literally, you can plan it like clockwork. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I trade in the last 90 minutes of a trading session. Why do I trade in the last 90 minutes of a trading session? I trade in the last 90 minutes of the session because I want to be able to center it. It's kind of like you want to bet on a football game, okay? The largest number of trades in football games often comes in, and like, the hours preceding the games, okay? Why? Because they want the most efficient spreads. It's about efficiency over there. Hmm? So you guys want to do another one? Do another one. Let let's do this. Let's do this. Ah, Caterpillar or IBM? Caterpillar or IBM. By the way, I know everybody wants to do Tesla, but I'm going to tell you right now, Tesla. Okay, this one it's such a wild child. It's such a wild child. Okay, this is with a 38 or $40 expected move. You can do higher or lower. I don't really care. Okay, I often abstain from trading Tesla around these butterflies, and there's actually a piece of criteria that kind of prohibits me from trading some of these. And it definitely applies to Tesla. Tesla, it's not about big and scary. Okay. Come on, who's an Elon Musk fan? Who's an Elon Musk fan? Eh? Anybody? No, I don't give a crap about any of the politics. Have you driven one of those things? Have you driven a Tesla? Have you? Okay. Until you've gone 0 to 60 in 1.99 seconds, you don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. All right. Okay. You don't have to like them. It's fine. Okay. Drive a car though. It'll change you. I love this. I love Elon sucks. Elon sucks. He's the greatest one. Okay. I seriously like, I don't care what anybody thinks about the guy. Okay. That vehicle is ridiculous. Be fair though, I've owned one since 2018. I'm on number three now, number three Tesla, because I'm hooked, man. I'm hooked on the juice. This thing has like a $40 expected move. If you pull off a butterfly over here, okay, you could do it. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's a piece of criteria, okay, in earnings flips that keeps me. It's prohibitive to trade Tesla. So I deviate. I go to Caterpillar. You go, oh, what is it? What is it? Okay. There's no assignment risk in there. You don't have to worry about any of that. So I love it. Somebody's like, more Tesla commercials. Okay. See, Tesla for 8 years. All right. Okay. We have a fan in here. By the way, I don't care what you think or love or hate about Elon. Hmm. It's I'm not exactly like a fanboy. Okay. I have my Tesla issued underpants on right now. Okay. Let's go look at Caterpillar. Is it going higher or lower? Okay. I'm going to tell you there's a piece of criteria that I used, and I am actually going to tell you this piece of criteria. When people are like, we call it earnings flip, which literally sounds like a coin flip. That's why it sounds like that because it is. And what I've actually learned to do, okay, is to align. Like if I started with a bearish trade in Microsoft, I'll do like a bearish trade in Caterpillar. I'll do a bearish trade, a couple other ones. So I'll go like all bearish and I'll hit like 2 out of 3 or 1 out of 3 and still be wildly profitable. You have to understand something about the earnings flip. Trade 3 of them. I want you to hear me out for a second. Okay. Trade 3 of them. Let's say that the average cost of my fly was 35 cents and I pay 35 cents and I pay 35 cents and I do 3 flies tonight. Tonight, I will do 3 trades tonight. And on one of these, I hit 1 in 3. On one of them, I make $2. Is that trade worth it? Is the trade worth it? So what did I really have at risk in here? Basically $1. What did I be able to make? $2. That's if I hit 1 in 3. Okay. That the mathematics of this are so easy. You realize you even hit 1 in 4. Okay. You're golden. You're absolutely golden. And I'm going to tell you right now. Okay. Last week, I missed 2. But the week before that, I hit 2. So I'm like 2 and 2, my batting average. I think there was one more that I missed before that. Then there was a Delta trade. So right now I'm running about 50% on this earnings period. I struck out on three. I made money on three. Okay. I don't mind saying that because that batting average is unbelievable. You're getting a batting average of like, 50% of the time that you're right, you're risking 35 cents, you can make $2. You're not always going to make $2. Sometimes you're going to be like, oh, this one's a bunt. I was looking at this DraftKings one, like up 46 cent, look, 46 cents into $1.30. Okay. That's still really freaking good. Okay. And then you go, oh, look at this $55 dollars into 100, and 20. It's still pretty good. Okay. And then like Delta, like again, I can do this all day long and show you trade after trade after trade. Let's go to Caterpillar. Let's go to Caterpillar. Let's bring up the math inside of Caterpillar. Okay. Let's get crazy. Okay. So Caterpillar is a 300, okay, $96 stock and 60 cents, right? Putting the full thing in so everybody sees the price, this, that, right? And it has can I just round that to 19 bucks? Oh, please, just let me round it. Okay, I know there's an engineer in here going crazy. Subtract $19 equals $377 and change. Okay, $377 and change. Now, does that align with anything in here? And this thing moves around a lot. So 377, look, there's a 377 half strike in here. Let me close that up. There's literally a 377 half strike in here. Now stock, it's kind of mellowing out a little bit throughout the course of the day, kind of ebbing and flowing. Okay. So, 377-ish, that works. 377. So I can come in here and go buy deep and wide. 1 month, two strike, butterfly. Okay. Holy crap, look at that. It's 34 cents. I'm actually going to route at 33, hit confirm and send, fires the trade. Okay. No fill, no fill. Come in here, cancel, replace. Let them know I'm there, knocking on the door. Okay. Am I going to fill? Nope. Okay. Cancel, replace. This one really should be this in my head. This butterfly is worth 36, 37. Okay. I think I might be able to fill at 35, but this butterfly really is in my mind worth 36 cents. Okay. And by the way, you'll see the bid offer spreads jump around here a little bit. Okay. That is A-OK. So no fill, no fill. We have one wide spread in here. So as I said, this one's 36, 37. I know I can fill at 37. So filled. Okay. By the way, if you sit there at home, you're like, how the hell does he know he's going to fill at 37 cents? I have not routed this before this. I promise. Okay. It's what I used to do. Okay. Making markets where I traded SPX. We were always pricing butterflies. So you just look at the bid offer spreads and you can know pretty much where you're going to fill. Still filled. This $5 wide butterfly inside of Cat. Okay. Where's Caterpillar going to go? I don't know. By the way, I could do this all day long. We could go through like what else is going to have earnings. Okay. I think UPS. Okay. UPS over here. Ooh, look when it's coming out tomorrow morning. Okay. You do UPS. Why would you do that? It's like $8 expected move and $135 stock. I could do MasterCard. Okay. I mean, tonight, man, I could get crazy tonight. I could get crazy tonight. But I'll tell you what, trade 3, trade 4. Okay, that's it. That's all I need. I could do MasterCard. What else I got? IBM. Oh yeah, I could definitely trade IBM. Okay. Why not? Do a little bit of IBM over there. Okay. That's actually after the marketplace. This has got the liquidity to do it. IBM's got some size trading in at a $15 expected move. This one fits too. Okay. All of these people, okay, are candidates for this. And again, here's some of the live earnings flips alerts. This is DraftKings. 183% return. Here's Take Two Interactive. Every $55 invested, I got back 120, 118% return. Here's Delta, $54 invested. I got back 120. It's a 122% return. And again, I'm firing off like a one lot over here. If you guys want to step to the plate and do 10 contracts, do 10 contracts. Get comfortable with the strategy first, okay, and then execute big. Here's Taiwan Semiconductor. Now we're getting a little bit more recent. Every $40 I invested, I got back 130. This is this earnings period. This, okay, is what? It's 2 weeks ago. Taiwan Semiconductor, we hit for a 225% return. Okay, United Healthcare hit. Every $30 invested, I got back 140. It's a 366% return. Okay, look, every trader needs an earnings edge. Earnings strategy is really the bedrock, and earnings flips is the bedrock of any trading arsenal. you got to realize you could step away from markets and trade earnings, okay, and just earnings with flips and be great, okay. It's repeatable opportunities. It's rinse and repeat each earnings season. Okay. The criteria for this hasn't deviated. Trade earnings for a lifetime is definitive. This is a very definitive system. Okay. For trading earnings. Introducing earnings flips alerts. Now, we have a course, of course, on earnings flips. Okay. But what we really charge $890 for, okay, in this case, it's the flips alerts. So this afternoon, following the FOMC meeting, I'll let markets kind of get a little wild, then I'll let them stabilize. As markets start to stabilize, I will start to fire alerts out. This evening, okay, I will do, okay, at minimum this evening, I will do 3 alerts. During any given earnings season, I will do 15 trades, okay, per earnings season. By the way, 15 trades, that's an absolute bare minimum. It's a $4,800 value, okay? This earnings alerts is good for a year. So it's $895 for the entire year of alerts. Now, with those 15 trades, we do a pre-earnings huddle. Myself and actually Blake. Blake helps me, okay, in seeking the trades. Blake actually helps me in looking at volume and open interest, okay? Blake helps me obviously on the earnings huddle over here, does some of the research behind this stuff, okay, to make sure that we have the best candidates possible each time we send out some of those alerts. Okay. In addition to this, we have an earnings flips masterclass. The masterclass is very recent. The class was actually done, okay, in November, cleaned up. What I basically do is I recorded it, okay, clean it up, chop it up, make it absolutely perfect. It's available to you now. Okay. As you enroll for this, you can literally, okay, watch the course. You know, it's a 3-hour class. Okay, if you want to speed it up and listen to it at 1.25 the times, you absolutely can cut down your time frame a little bit in there. It's a class though that's, you know, I think you guys will absolutely love it. And some people, they don't want to watch the class, and I get it. They don't even want to bother watching the class. They just want the alerts. Okay, we put this together, but I know that some people, they need to watch the class because they want to see exactly, okay, what's behind that expected move. And that's what the class does. It actually shows you in detail how expected move works. Just saying that something's going to move $20, okay, there's some of you that that's not good enough for. You want to know, why is it going to move that amount, okay? And that's important. So again, we do a class. You have access to it immediately. It's on demand. You can watch it literally, okay, 5 minutes after this presentation. You have the earnings flips alerts. Now, those alerts, we do 15 trades per earnings season. So it's quarterly, right? So you're going to get what? A ton of alerts. You're going to get 60 plus trades a year. And that's these 60 plus. You're going to get more than that. There's no question about it. Okay. I mean, I'm doing 3 tonight. I've already got like 6 behind me. I'm going to do another 3 tonight. And we haven't even hit like our apex week. So I'll be rocking next week. Okay. Another thing I want to mention in here. Okay. Big one. Listen carefully. I only trade this on Wednesday or Thursday, so you don't have to sit there all week going, you're going to trade? Hold me. Okay. You don't have to do any of that. Okay. You don't have to do any of that. So just look, calm down. We're only going to trade, again, on a what? On a Wednesday or Thursday. You're going to get my earnings flips watch list. That's about 100 instruments that we're actually looking to be able to trade during the season. Okay. And then, of course, how to place your first trade. All right. How to place the first trade over there. You can roll for it now. It's theotrade.com/flip. And we've actually thrown that we've thrown that into the chat room. theotrade.com/flip. Okay. I want everybody to be aware. Okay. This is a 90-day money back guarantee. So check it out. There could not be a better time to enroll. You're going to get flips tonight. You're going to get flips tomorrow. You're going to get flips next week. You're going to get flips, okay, the next 90 days. You're going to get a ton. Look, make sure it's right for you. Make sure it's right for you. The timing of this thing, people are absolutely going to love. Trade with us. Trade with us. The proof's in the pudding over here. There's no stipulations whatsoever to the 90-day money back guarantee. Okay. Look, it's $900. Okay. No excuses, no questions, no commentary needed. There are no stipulations to the 90-day money back guarantee. Like, we want people that want to trade this stuff. but we also want to make sure that you're comfortable with it. So if at any point in the next 90 days you're not comfortable, just email us, ask for your money back. As I said, it's theotrade.com/flip. Let me pull this up here. Look, I am more than aware. You guys can scroll down to the bottom of this. Okay. Single payment. We do have payment systems in place for those of you that would, kind of experiment with it and say, hey, I'll plunk down 450 right now. Let's check this out a little bit. That's fine. Again, you got to have skin in the game to figure out if this is going to work for you. I'm going to say that again. You have to have skin in the game. You got to trade the strategy. Don't just look at it and be like, oh, it did go, it did move $20. The other thing is this: don't ever, ever, don't judge us on one or two or three trades. You got to trade. Okay. You want to do 10, 15 trades because what's going to happen is you'll strike out on three and then like the next three, it's like winner, chicken dinner. I have to be honest with you. This is like of all the strategies that I like trading. If you guys haven't known about this, I'm into this one. Okay. There are things that I do in trading. I'm like, this is a little mundane. This is a little like slower. Okay. Earnings flips. Freaking love this stuff. It's like instant gratification. Okay. I really do take pride in this one, and I absolutely do keep track. Okay. Like how many flips has Don hit this earnings season? They're like 7. You're like, that's ridiculous. Believe me, we keep track over here. Okay. We keep score. We name names. Go to theotrade.com/flip. You can enroll for it right now. By the way, a couple things. Email address. Put a valid email address. Don't use that crap behind Mac because we're going to be sending you the trades out. Put a valid phone number that we can actually text to. Okay. So we send this out in a number of different methods over here. All right. Also, if you need us, there are some people that just will not enter a credit card in online. I totally get it. Just call us 623-244-5657. Again, it's 623-244-5657. I can say that. By the way, we use 623 is actually a Phoenix area code. I live between Arizona and the Virgin Islands, and no one knows what a Virgin Island area code happens to be. So we use a Phoenix area code most of the time. Again, valid phone number that we can text to. That's kind of important out there. And we're going to be answering questions here momentarily in the chat room. All right, 90-day money back guarantee. Now, to get into specifics, the masterclass. Okay, the masterclass is pretty straightforward, but I lean pretty heavily in the masterclass into that expected move, which kind of details how the strategy works. I also go heavy in the masterclass, okay, into in effect, okay, how the order flow really works, okay, and why the strategy plays out to be like 1 and 3. So for those of you guys that are really like geeks over here, I often say this, but the master classes, I'm going to show you exactly how the sausage is made and the criteria that I'm talking about. When I start to reference criteria in here, okay, the criteria that I'm referencing is covered in detail in the class. The class, I show you everything, okay, absolutely everything in there, okay. I'm cracking up. Hey, we're all old in here. Somebody who's like a senior citizen, okay? We're all old in here. I started doing this, and I literally, I was 22 years old, okay? Staring down the face of 50 right now, people, okay? 50. Anyway, you guys will really enjoy the class. And I'm going to say this again. I want everybody to listen to the class. You follow the alerts. Of course, I want you to follow the alerts. That's what this is about. But I honestly think you'll be better at this if you put the time in and listen to the class. And that's, I'm just giving you my, my deepest like opinion over there. Watch the class. Even if it's just superfluous, you go through it kind of quickly, watch the damn class. Okay. The actual alerts, you'll understand these alerts better having watched the class. But by the way, if you're an experienced trader, and you've gone and you understand, okay, a couple of the strategies out there and you understand expected move, you could trade this right now. Like literally, you probably traded with me. You're like, boom, okay, got it. There's going to be 15 trades per earnings season texted and emailed to you. Okay, it's a $4,800 value. Literally, that's 60 trades at minimum every year. And yes, you are actually signing up for a year. And you go, what if I want to do it the year after that? That's up to you. If you want to do it the year after that, you can. Okay. And we give you that opportunity. You could do it the year afterwards and, re-enroll and so forth. That's no problem whatsoever. So it's 15 trades, okay, per year for you. Next in the docket over here, okay, the pre-earnings huddle. What's the pre-earnings huddle? At the beginning of the earnings season, okay, we already had the beginning of the earnings season, but the beginning of the earnings season, okay, we're actually going to sit you down for an hour to 90 minutes and explain to you these are the strategies, okay, that we're going to use, specifically which underlyings we're going to trade. Okay. So we're already starting to pinpoint what we're going to trade, when we're going to trade it. Okay. We're going to refresh everybody's memory on it. So what happens is during the peak version, of the season, the peak timing of the season, which is right now, like if you hop on here, okay, literally starting today is getting into peak season. Okay. Today is peak season over here. And I cannot stress to you enough from this point on, okay, we're probably going to do at least another 15. So don't think like, oh, I missed six already. Okay. Yeah, you missed six trade. Yada, yada, yada. Who cares? Okay. Onward. Onward. Today literally starts peak season for this quarter. Okay. And then, of course, next quarter will kick off. You're like, what's next quarter? Start turning the quarter into March and April. We're in earnings season again, right? This earnings season comes to an end, but there's always stuff that's like not in the main schedule, like Nvidia, for example. Nvidia, Costco, Walmart. Okay. Those actually release at a very different time. So you might randomly get three or four different, products, in late February shot out to you. And you got some earnings flips in late February shot out to you because again, some of the tech companies release off cycle. A lot of the retailers release what we term off cycle. Off cycle basically means not in this apex week coming next week, but towards the end of February. So that's what the pre-earnings huddle will explain. We give you a watch list, okay, between 80 and 100 stocks that we're watching on a quarterly basis. We update this quarterly as well, what's in play, and of course, how to place your first trade. This is actually, I'll walk you through how to execute your first trade. Very, very simplistic, very straightforward. Eliminate all of the guesswork out there. And that, people, that is important to me. Okay. That is very important to me that we do just that, that we actually take you through and make sure, okay, that you have and are well versed, okay, and be able to place this particular trade prior to. All right, so let's go onward and upward over here. So to just reiterate, okay, earnings flips alerts, $895 for the year. It includes the earnings flips masterclass, okay, includes earnings flips alerts, okay, which is 60 alerts a year, 15 per quarter, and that is minimum, okay. Earnings, pre-earnings, I should say, huddle, which is going to describe to you, again, 4 times a year, we're going to meet and just say like, this is the setup, okay, what's coming, what's not coming, when we're actually going to trade, okay. I'm going to tell everybody again, because this one always gets lost in translation. When do I trade this strategy? Okay, when do I trade the strategy? Only 2 days a week. It'll only work 2 days a week. I want to be so crystal clear about this. The strategy, okay, will work, okay, 2 days a week. You only place this on a Wednesday afternoon and on a Thursday afternoon, and that's it. Okay, you go, why not Monday, Tuesday? Can't work because the strategy doesn't expand, okay, until the Wednesday or Thursday. Strategy will not expand, okay, until that time frame. Very, very important. So that's will be explained again and again and again in here. And it's usually, by the way, the trades are typically coming out during earnings season. You should expect on a Wednesday or Thursday, it's the last 90 minutes of a trading session. We are releasing those trades. When I say releasing the trades, we'll literally be firing those trades out to you. Okay. There's no question when the alerts come to you. You're getting emailed, you're getting texted. All right. We'll get them out to you in plenty of time for a fill. All right. So when I say a fill, you're going to execute, and we'll talk about exactly how to execute and what price, okay, you can execute at. By the way, I'm going to read off names, okay, as some of you enroll. Again, to reiterate, there's a 90-day money back guarantee. we provide today 50 spots on the 90-day money back guarantee. Now, we do that obviously to incentivize you to enroll today. All right. So, extra bonus today, unlimited email mentoring. One thing I always like to reiterate in here, okay? You can email us anytime. You can email me anytime. If you're having a problem getting a fill, if you're like, you're like, is this brokerage firm good? Is this brokerage? We'll answer all those questions. Okay. Most of us held basically every securities license imaginable at one point or time. Okay. We're very comfortable at like going in there and, answering emails and answering trade related questions. So when you email us, you don't have to be like, my sister's brother's dog had this question about an earnings, flip. You don't have to do that. If you have, by the way, if you have a question about a portfolio, email us. Okay. There's nothing we're going to shy away from in there. When I say that we had all licenses and securities licenses, I I had a Series 3, which is a principal futures broker dealer. I had a Series 4, which is a principal options broker dealer. I had a Series 7, which is just my routine brokerage license. I had a Series 24, which is a principal broker. I had a Series 66, which is a 63 and a 65 combined. I even had my P, whatever the heck it is, over in Australia. And I've done two of the Canadian securities licenses. You want fries with that? Okay. What does that mean? Absolutely nothing other than I was always very good at taking those tests. I really was. I was a great test taker. They're like, let Don do it. Let Don do it. In my last position at TD Ameritrade, I had 768 people reporting through my Series 24. Okay. And a completely crystal clear record on there. Good stuff. Anyway, by the way, there was a great question. Can level one trades allow these, to do these trades? And the answer to that is we will help you get set up with a firm. You can do anything you want with $2,000 in the account. Right. So I know that that's always a question over there, and I can get you set up within hours. Literally, we can set up a call with Todd Sweet. That guy can get you up and running overnight. Again, total retail value today is $5,797. Today it's $895. It's theotrade.com/flip. I'm going to read off a couple of names in here. These are individuals, okay, that, as I said, there's 50 spots in the 90-day money back guarantee. I just want you guys to understand it takes me about 5 to 7 minutes before I see your enrollment come through. You should receive email, username, password. Steve T from New York, Nicholas D from Connecticut, okay, Dwight R from Florida, Brian K from Illinois, Lewis P from Ohio, Alan O from Georgia, Roger E from California, Kevin H from Canada, Nelson P from California, John M from Ohio, Kirk K from Illinois, Paul H from Alabama, Vincent W from North Carolina. As I said, it takes about 5 to 7 minutes before I see this. The names I just read off are individuals that have enrolled. We see you guys. Obviously, you've got a 90-day money back guarantee on there. All right, let's continue onward and upward. Okay. Again, we're here to help. If you need us, email us. Again, support at theotrade.com. We are also available by phone right now. Okay, 623-244-5657. And I say, like, if you need us, call us. Like this, like if you have a question about enrolling today, just call them 623-244-5657. John N from Illinois and Reed P from Texas. Look, it's here. Apex earnings week is here. So that's going to be next week. So next week, you got to expect I'm going to do at minimum next week, 6, maybe 7K of these earnings flips. I say 6, 7. I don't want to trade much more than 3 on a Wednesday or 3 on a Thursday. I don't want to overwhelm anybody. Like I could literally tonight, I could trade all 15 tonight. But that's wild. Like I would be like, bam, 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 bam. I'm going to trade 3 tonight. Okay. Because I think that's enough. In my personal opinion, that's enough. Okay. Watch 3 things. It's good. It's fun. I enjoy it. Like again, if there's a strategy that I like to trade, okay, it's this one. There's no question about it. I like to trade this strategy. I like on earnings, like everybody watches them. Everybody watches them, but now it's like real skin in the game, for trading these things. John A from Colorado, Jonathan S. from Arkansas, Thomas L. from Maryland, Roger M. from California. And again, I'm seeing the enrollments kind of come through here, just a few minutes delayed. All right, theotrade.com/flip. As I said, there's just nothing else like this that has got the timing of the trade like clockwork. Um, the option setup is all that we have to focus on. Like, in the Microsoft one took 2 seconds. The $444 stock minus 20, boom. Okay. And it always kills everybody, the bullish or bearish. I am going to tell you this. In the class, we have a little section, okay, that'll help establish being bullish or bearish. It will help. Okay. It's not the end all be all, because I'm still very adamant that nobody knows nothing coming into earnings, right? But I will tell you how the market leans one way or the other. Okay. All right. Some Q&A over here. Garth H from Kentucky and Corrine M from Georgia. Little Q&A. So we're answering questions obviously live inside of the chat room right now. But at the same time, I'm going to answer some questions while I'm live over here. Right. So the first question that comes up incessantly, what do you need to get started? I left this up here, but I used to say, like, oh, you need a laptop. Okay. You need an internet connection. You don't need a laptop. Everything we do now, okay, everything we do now can be done over a mobile device. Everything. And I'll also kind of point out on this particular front, not only is everything you can do is over a mobile device, on your mobile device, you can not only receive the trade on email, receive the trade via text message, but you can execute. Okay. You can execute on Tasty or you can execute on Thinkorswim Mobile. So that's completely up to you. There's, Thinkorswim Mobile. And I'm more than comfortable in trading off of these. It's really, really simple now to set this stuff up. I have to say, a large portion of my trades these days, okay, I actually use my iPad a lot. Okay. I'll sit, like, I've got a big computer system here, but that's the big computer system because I've got a camera here and I've got to run this presentation. I'll sit on the other side of my office on my iPad. I love trading on my iPad. I don't know, something about like touching the market. Anyway, whatever you need, okay, we'll provide to you. And I want everybody to know that to get involved in like earnings flip. What else am I going to need? You're not going to need anything. Okay. You're not going to need anything over there. So we have everything you're going to need to get started from absolute novice to the most extreme, okay, of traders. Um, and again, this is annual access to earnings flips alerts. Okay. The next thing people always, always ask us, and again, you enroll today, it's $8.95. That's again, it's for the whole year because somebody else just asked that same question. So thank you. All right, moving on. By the way, Steve A from California. I'm seeing a couple more names come through over here. So it's good. It's good. By the way, I'm watching markets too out of the corner of my eye. Next thing, people always ask us about email. You can email us anytime. You'll receive a response within 24 hours, including trade related questions. Now, I've already made a big deal about that, but I like to reiterate it again. Okay. Really important to me that that you can give us a Q&A and an email, a trade related question and an email, receive a response. I always say 24 hours because most of the time I'll answer emails before the market or after the market closes. Right now, I'm in Arizona. When I'm in Arizona, I answer emails late in the day. Okay. When I'm on island is we live in St. Croix. When I'm in St. Croix, I answer emails early in the day. It just has to do with like in St. Croix, the market opens at 10:30, okay, in the morning. So it's we're an hour past Eastern time. So the market opens at 10:30 in the morning, and I will obviously answer emails early in the day. And here when I'm on in Arizona, we don't change clocks here either, but I answer them in the afternoons. And the reason I say trade related questions, this doesn't just have to be about earnings flip. It could be about anything, right? There's just for your $900, you got to realize there's no one else to even talk to in this business anymore. Like years ago, you guys remember like 15 years ago, there was like an ad from Charles Schwab. It was like, talk to Chuck. Well, let me tell you right now, they ain't got that ad going, do they? Because there's no Chuck to talk to. Hey, Chuck don't want to talk to you no more. Like I feel in this brokerage business now, the brokerage side of the business, there's no one else to talk to. There isn't. There's no one to talk to. So we're it. You'll be able to communicate with other clientele. Okay, be able to communicate with us, and that's important to me. So, all right, uh, variations of the trades. Okay, that we send out can be done inside of an IRA. People always ask us about what about a retirement account? You can do this in a retirement account. Not every brokerage firm will let you do that, but we will let you do this inside of the IRA, and we'll give you brokerage firms that allow you to do it inside of an IRA. As I said, if you're like, I'm sorry, I'm in Robinhood. There's nothing wrong with Robinhood. One of my like good friends, he runs Robinhood, but you can't do this in an IRA at Robinhood. That's not their business. Okay, so we'll help you select a brokerage firm, which brings me to my next point over here at TheoTrade, we can help you get approved for options, okay, at several major broker dealers. We have relationships like the core group that ran Thinkorswim, okay? That core group runs the entire brokerage world. As I said, I have a friend at Robinhood, okay, pretty much runs Robinhood. I have a friend at E-Trade, okay, Mary, she runs most of E-Trade now. I've obviously got friends still at Charles Schwab. I've got friends over at Tasty. I mean, any one of the major brokerage firms, we've got relationships to, and we've got inroads, so we can definitely pick up a phone. So no problem there whatsoever. You tell us, okay, what you're thinking, and we'll actually give you the right brokerage firm, even in Canada, because Canada is always problematic. There's a lot of regulation up there. Okay, no problem. Remember, there are 50 riskless trade spots available. Get results, take action, enroll for earnings flips now. There's no risk to you. Again, you have a 90-day money back guarantee on there. Um, again, I fired off a couple of trades here today. I'll kind of reiterate. For those of you that have enrolled, okay, for earnings flip, what I will do, right? I'm having a decent day over here. Okay. For those of you that have enrolled for earnings flip, I am going to send these trades out. I'm only going to send them out though in about the last hour of today's trading session. Why? Markets are moving around a little bit now, aren't they? Okay. Look at Microsoft. Microsoft, we put the trade on somewhere in this neighborhood, but it sold off a little bit. Okay. So we might not be perfectly centered on the strike that I want centered on. So okay, will send these trades out. So for those of you, again, if you have enrolled, okay, if you're listening to this and you are already enrolled, you will get the trades tailored. Like I like to clean them up a little bit and I'll send them out that last hour today. And it literally will be like I'll be sitting here to the last hour of trade today. And the reason is we have a Fed announcement, people. Yeah, we have a Fed announcement. Okay. A few more names over here. And I answer a couple questions, wrap it up. It's Alan S. from Texas, James F. from Florida, Mark W. from Georgia, Jack P. from North Carolina, Nandy from Maryland. Okay. Paul W. from Michigan. All right. So with that, again, traded Microsoft. And by the way, I have to take these and take a look at my trades. Like here in Caterpillar, take the Caterpillar. I have my own little earnings flip grouping in here. Okay. Microsoft, take the Microsoft, dump it into my other little grouping over here. Okay. So now I'm ready to watch these things. Okay. Look, it's already up 25%. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. We'll see how this thing goes. But I'm going to recenter them. I'm going to resend them out. Okay. Into the last hour of trading today. Expect in the last hour tomorrow. I'm also going to send out quite a number of alerts. Look, I want to thank each and every one of you for actually joining me today. Have a wonderful afternoon and sit tight. This FOMC announcement could be a little bit interesting. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful afternoon. Bye bye.